Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into something pretty mind-bending. Are you the only one who really exists? It's a core question explored in Anubhav Srivastava's book, Nothing Everything.
Yeah, exactly. And our goal here is to really unpack the challenges facing the standard Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics, especially when you push its focus on the observer towards solipsism, this idea that maybe only your mind is real. We're looking at why the text argues that just doesn't hold up.
Okay, so let's start with maybe the most relatable issue, the multiple observer problem. The book uses this town analogy. Copenhagen seems to suggest if you choose town B, town A just existing stops existing for you because you observed B. But what about, everyone else?
That's the crux of it, right? If your observation is the thing that makes reality happen, you immediately hit a paradox. How could people in that unobserved town A possibly do something, like the terrorists example, that then affects your reality in town B if they weren't real?
Right. So some might argue, well, the terrorist only became real when you perceived the bomb blast.
But the argument in Nothing Everything pushes back on that. It says the terrorists' existence and their actions, they were independent causes. They happened before you perceived the effect. That sort of proves their existence wasn't just in your head.
Which kind of forces us into what the text calls the observer hierarchy trap. If observation collapses reality, okay, whose observation actually does the collapsing?
Yeah, if the answer is just yours, then it's not really a universal theory, is it? It sets up this weird, arbitrary distinction, like some observers are fundamentally more real.
It just doesn't seem consistent. I mean, if someone throws a rock at you, it hurts. Their action clearly impacts your reality.
Exactly. Solipsism just doesn't match with how interconnected everything obviously feels and, well, is.
Okay, so if it struggles with just two people, what happens when we talk about things that don't seem to involve an observer at all?
Right. And that brings us to the impersonal event challenge. Think about a massive earthquake or a star going supernova light years away, or even just, the weather. These things follow physical laws. They happen whether anyone's looking or not.
And the book hits hard here. It asks, if you collapse reality by observing, why can that earthquake kill you? Why can it end your ability to observe anything? That really puts you in your place, doesn't it? It shows you're definitely not in control of these huge physical forces.
Precisely, and it raises another big question for Copenhagen. Who or what collapsed the earthquake into existence, or that distant supernova? If no conscious observer was needed, how did it become definite? The interpretation, well, doesn't really have a solid answer for that. Reality just seems to impose itself sometimes.
And this ties straight into the infinite regression paradox, another key point from Srivastava's work. It's about dependency. I mean, for you to even be an observer, the universe had to exist first, right? Your parents had to exist. They created the conditions for you.
Exactly. If we follow the observer creates reality idea, then some other observer must have collapsed you into existence. But then who collapsed them? And who collapsed the observer before them? You get stuck in this impossible loop. It just goes back forever.
So it seems much more logical that reality comes first and the observer emerges from reality, not the other way around.
Yeah. So if we kind of pull all these threads together, the main point is that the universe just can't logically depend on one single observer. The actions of others, these huge impersonal events, they all point away from that kind of observer-centric solipsism.
So the final thought for you listening is this. If you're not the center point making the universe pop into existence, what does that actually tell you about your own place? About being part of this vast, independent reality that was here before you and will likely be here after?
It's definitely something to chew on. And exploring that idea further, and everything really can shift how you see, well, everything.